The following is a Comfortably Zoned Radio Network production.
We are back. New York City Baseball, past, present, and future. I'm Ralph Tyko with the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network, and we are all present and accounted for, the whole mishpacha, the whole group of us here. Marty Rose is here. Mert.
Howdy, everybody. Glad to be here.
Robert Deininger. Hi, Mert. And Robert Deininger has been on assignment, and you're back. We missed you.
Thank you, and good evening. How's everyone doing?
We're doing pretty good. Gene, the Yankee hater machine, for those of you who watched the Gong Show years ago, and there was Gene, the dancing machine. We've got our answer to it. Gene Hutmaker is officially a Yankee hater, wrote a book about being a Yankee hater, and the truth of the matter is he's the most objective Yankee analyst, except for Robert. Robert can be very objective about his own team, that I know. So we've been enjoying him as a steady addition to the booth here, and on Sunday mornings, Mert and Robert, you're invited to this ongoing, same numbers, 12 Eastern. We just talk baseball. We have a special show. It's just talking ball. We have David Hubler, Ian Kahanowitz comes on, Ronnie Rabinovich when he's healthy, Chad Rubin when he's healthy, and Gene's been adding to it, and we have different topics every week, and it's fun. It doesn't restrict us to any one team like the individual shows do, but we seem on this airwaves to have enough to talk about with the Mets and the Yankees. And I'll start it off this time, and I'll just say both teams missed the boat, I think, on this Japanese phenom. He's not, probably through no fault of the teams themselves, he just didn't want to play on the East Coast and wants to be in California. I wish the Mets would have gotten him. What a tremendous, I can't pronounce his name anyway, let alone think of his name. But he
Otani.
Pardon me?
Otani?
Otana.
Yes.
Something like that.
Pitches and hits, and he's at the top of his game in both categories in Japan. And
I heard Seattle's the favorite. I heard that, Ralph.
Well, I got to think that it would be nice to see him with the Giants, or maybe even the A's, which would be such an incredible long shot to get that to happen, just for the local interest. But I'll take him on the West Coast, and it's an interesting part of baseball these days, is that the talent is coming from all over the world, and there's not much of a drop-off in leagues. You play in Japan, it's triple A plus. So we'll see what this guy can do, and which leads me, natural segue, to the Yankees hiring Aaron Boone, who, as far as I know, is not multilingual. He doesn't speak Spanish, and I was hoping that it might be Mullins, the coach with who's the ex-Yankee outfielder, Heine Mullins or whatever. He is very highly respected in the Giant organization. They're moving.
He's the third base coach, right?
Yeah, and he was third base coach there. They're moving him to bench coach with the idea if he sticks around, he'll be the heir apparent to Bochy, I think. And
speaks several languages, right? From what I
Pardon?
understand. He speaks several languages?
Yes, he does. Yes, he does.
And I saw the A's got the Yankees AAA manager as their new third base coach.
For basically the same reason. And the A's the guy the A's got developed Judge and Sanchez.
Yeah.
He's multilingual. In this game, I think it takes that, but that's not to say that Aaron Judge is set up to fail.
No.
Let's go around the room and start with the Yankee fans. Start with Eugene. What you think of the signing? Or the Yankee non-fans in this case, sorry.
Well, I'm not big on managers. In fact, I hope he has the computer because I think that's what the Yankees want right now. Because Girardi definitely had his own mind, and they didn't like that. So he has to be a company man. And as far as that home run he hit, that I really don't care about that home run, as the final result showed that the Marlins bailed me out.
Okay.
I mean, I like the Boones all the way from Ray Boone winning the RBI title in '56, and Bob Boone being a Hall of Fame type receiver, not batting, but like catcher. So the Boones are they're a baseball legacy.
Absolutely, and there's something good about that when he's been around the game, not just as a player himself, and but literally as a toddler, sitting around the clubhouse, sitting around Thanksgiving, talking to his grandfather, Ray Boone. So there's something to be said for that. So basically, if you were a Yankee fan, would you like the hiring?
I'd be okay with it. Yeah, they all love that home run he hit. So I think a Yankee fan would be happy because of that.
Robert, as a Yankee fan, are you happy?
I'm not unhappy. Let's put it that way. I mean, Girardi was, he was a good manager. So whoever you were going to replace him with, there are going to be opinions going both ways. But I'm fine with it.
Would have you been happier if they kept Girardi looking back?
Yeah. But like Gene said, I think they want more of a company man. Someone who blends in with the system they already have in place, the analytical team. Someone who's going to be able to mesh well, better with the players. Girardi was a little bit rigid as far as, interacting with players.
Who's going to be his bench coach?
I don't know. I know they already announced that they're bringing back the pitching coach, and they also announced that Jeff Green's not going to be a reliever next year, but a starter. So it looks like the front office will be doing a lot of the decision making as far as what's going to happen on the field. I think.
Has the name? Because it blanks out. Randolph. Has Randolph been mentioned at all?
I haven't heard his name. I'm wondering if Boone is even going to be allowed to pick his own staff.
Okay, that wasn't. They didn't talk about that at the press conference.
Yeah.
So they're going to have a official press conference on Wednesday.
Okay. That's why they'll probably talk coaches at that.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of this hire has to do with his personality and obviously his media. He's comfortable with the media since he was the media. So, I think that's a big part of it too. And
it is New York, and that has to be even more of a part of it than in other cities in the country. So
absolutely.
But the reason I bring up Willie Randolph, what a natural, a New Yorker. Was he highly successful with the Mets? Can't say. but I don't think he was unsuccessful enough to have been fired. Marty, what do you think about that statement?
No, I agree. And I don't understand why he never got a look anywhere else, especially here in New York. For any position, not just managing, but anything in an organization, especially the Yankees. The guy was a star with the Yankees.
Right.
I don't get it. I really don't.
You got to think it's his complexion.
I don't know.
That comes to mind. But
really? I doubt it. I don't know. I hope not.
Yeah. But, yeah.
Oh, we're kind of past that by now.
Well, we're talking on another show how this country has almost come full cycle when it comes to hatred. The world we're living in now, tolerance for others, and you could say it all starts at the top and not be far off. But I just read the other day that, for instance, Germany, not just talking about the country, I'm talking about the world we live in, that there's an incredibly high, and I'm quoting, an incredibly high rate of anti-Semitism in Germany, their quote. I'm thinking, holy shit, everybody comes in under a different level. If you're saying for Germany it's high, oh my God. Or what are they saying? Not just hatred of everybody. They're closing up the borders. The Supreme Court ruled today that it's okay, the travel ban and what have you.
Mm-hmm.
It's just there's an intolerance that goes on that isn't always covert. A lot of it is overt. And I don't know.
But getting back to the Yankees, I mean, this guy was a star with the Yankees. The fans liked him. He's a Brooklyn guy, and it just, unless he's got something else against him, going up to ownership, which we don't know about.
Yeah, right. He had a winning record with the Mets: 302 wins, 253 losses. It's a .544 winning percentage, and he was 6-4 in the postseason.
If you guys can remember back to the 80s and the early 90s, and if you remember the name Jerry Royster, he was an infielder with the Dodgers. I think he might have played some with the Braves. But a black guy, utility infielder, looked upon as the next rising star to be a manager, and spent a lot of time in the Dodger organization, coming up as an instructor, as a minor league manager and coach, what have you. And for one reason or another, I equate Randolph to Jerry Royster. Their names just fall off the table. I mean, they're mentioned in enough trade rumor or managerial rumors with enough teams long enough they either get or don't get interviews, and pretty soon the media goes on to looking for somebody else, and you can't really explain it. With Randolph, I really can't. I thought when he left the Mets, he'd quickly catch on with somebody. And what gets me, all these guys with no managerial experience whatsoever.
Yeah, and there's an article from last year that says he wants to get into coaching. He's doing his due diligence, but no one seems to want to hire him. He last coached in 2011 with Baltimore on Showalter's staff.
Oh, didn't remember that, as a matter of fact. Well,
it makes no sense.
Maybe there's something about him that people don't like. That, and beyond his color, naturally, I'm saying. Who knows? Want to talk a little Mets, Mert?
Yeah. Well,
anything? We both got pretty good news. I think this week we both responded in the same way, that Jay Bruce would not be adverse to signing with the Mets, and the Mets have expressed the idea they wouldn't mind having him back. And
except for the fact that he wants 5 years and they want 3 years. So,
well, give him 4 and let's go to play some ball. I mean, if that's what life is about, compromise.
Yep.
Why not just make it that simple and, make up that extra year with some other guy's contract? Why stretch stuff like that out? I wonder. If it makes sense, make it work, and don't get the agents involved as much. You don't have to tear the guy down by telling him, oh, we think you're going to break down after 3, that kind of thing. Just get it done.
It's been unusually quiet, everything. But I guess the winter meetings are coming up, so we'll see what happens at the winter meetings.
All right.
And right after. Usually that's the big signing time, like after the holidays, early January, should start to get busy, around that time, I think.
The one thing about not signing the Japanese kid as a pitcher is that it seems to have changed the Mets' outlook about going for starting pitchers, and they're going to try to strengthen their bullpen. And I think they really mean it, that they're going to cut down on innings. If they could strengthen their bullpen enough, that may start to make sense by cutting down innings. But you have to have a bullpen for that.
Absolutely.
And that could be something that can help them. I don't know who's out there with relief pitching, but I will say this: it's a crapshoot from year to year.
It is.
Who does well one year doesn't necessarily mean they're going to do well the next year, which means that Familia's due for a good year.
You would hope. You would hope.
Absolutely. If there's such a good thing as vibes, where a player.
And they got Levin's back, and they got Ramos.
And
everybody on the 40-man roster was tendered a contract. I heard that. So we'll see. Yeah.
And they could be pretty deep. I'm just thinking they signed Bruce. You're talking Conforto, Cespedes in the corners. You got Nemo. You got Lagares going in. McCutchen may be out there. Would that be somebody you'd like to see playing center field for the Mets, Mert?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
But that I don't see that happening. I don't know, what is his contract status? Guess we could look that up.
I think he's a free agent.
Really?
Well, maybe not. No, maybe not a free agent, but Pittsburgh really wants to trade him.
They want to get something for him before he becomes a free agent.
Oh, okay. He's coming up in his last year. Is that it? And I don't see the Mets being deep enough. Although they've got 2 or 3 shortstops. Cicchini's still with them.
Yeah, he's a free agent in 2019.
Okay.
So yeah, he's got 1 more year. This coming season is his walk year, McCutchen.
Yeah, you'd like to get him before then, naturally.
Yeah, well, his current contract was 7 years, $65 million, which, it sounds like a Pittsburgh number,
Say we get Bruce and no one else to play center field, would you be happy with taking your chances with Nemo and Lagares?
I don't think so. Okay. Lagares always gets hurt, and I don't think Nemo will ever be anything besides fourth outfielder. I'd be surprised if he was.
So then it might be an option of playing Conforto in center, where he really hasn't done all that badly. He's been provided his arm's okay, and that seems to be going well. And I don't think the shoulder he hurt was his throwing shoulder, if I'm not mistaken. But that aside, you sign Bruce, put him in right, and then you've got Smith and Flores at first. Would you be happier with Smith and Flores working it out at first, or Lagares and Nemo working it out in center? Which of those two combinations would you prefer?
Wow. Well, I like Flores. I like Flores a lot.
Okay.
Smith, we're not sure about him yet. He actually hit for more power after he came up than he was doing in Las Vegas, which is a little surprising. He didn't look bad in the field, and he
changed his workout.
He's lost weight. He has. Remember, they were getting on him about his weight last year.
Right.
So he has lost to like 11 or 12 pounds. So he's trying.
I also read where they're looking for that one guy to replace the head of the training staff. They're not just going to poach somebody from within. And that may be a big boon, getting guys in shape.
Yeah,
Cespedes can avoid these thigh and leg injuries. That would be
that would be nice.
It would be nice.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping Harvey, thinking about it, he was coming back from 2 surgeries last year.
Right.
And he seemed to have ended the year relatively healthy. And I can see him making a big comeback, a nice comeback. That would.
Well, this is the year for him, because this is his walk year also. So it's put up or shut up for him this year, no question.
Right. I also had somewhere in the middle of the day when I was thinking about this show, this realization, Mert, that the Wilpons, father and son, will own the Mets for the rest of our lives.
Most likely.
You know what I'm saying? Just by the way of things. And is there anything that can get them in better financial shape where Alderson doesn't have to make it a begging game each year just to get a minimum budget?
It depends how much money they want to throw at the team. I mean, I think their real estate businesses are doing fine. It's just how much money they want to put into the team. That's the problem.
Okay. They're not struggling anymore as they were with.
No, during that fiasco years ago. No, that hasn't been brought up much lately. So I think we are past that.
It's New York City. You would like to see them put some bucks back in the franchise because it's at this point it's worth billions. Put some in.
I think they wanted to develop. They wanted to develop the land around where Citi Field is and put up like hotels and restaurants and and stuff like that. I think that's what they wanted. But that hasn't come to pass yet. I don't know if it will or not, but
they
that's
own
what they would
all that
like.
property around it.
Yeah, all those where they had all those chop shops,
right?
You know, in Flushing Meadows there.
Right.
To my knowledge, they're still there. I think they were supposed to move them out, but I don't think they ever did.
All right.
You know.
Hey guys, it's been a good show, and I want to, before we go, in honor of Ronnie Rabinovitz, who is one of our fellow podcasters at Comfortably Zoned, has been really ill of late, and his life work is to help spread the legacy of Jackie Robinson. And he goes around to different kids groups, and he works part-time for the Twins in Minnesota, and they bring in tours of children, and he lectures about Jackie's crossing the line back in 1947. He was, when he was a kid, his dad knew and worked with Jackie Robinson, was a civil rights attorney. And when he was like 10, his dad comes to him and says, you know, I think I could get you. Would you like to meet Jackie Robinson? We'll go down to the Braves game and meet him before the game. And he went down and met him, and they became fast friends all those years. Until they were both adults. He was an adult. Jackie passed away in the early 70s. And he's got all these memories and letters and about Jackie. And he came to the station first. I had him on, and we talked about what he does and how Jackie crossed the line. In any event, Ronnie is sick, and we want to help honor Ronnie and the work that he does. I want to with the station. I've been doing it all week with the different shows, and I want to go around the room and just, if I say Jackie Robinson, we're all different ages here. If I say Jackie Robinson to Gene Hutmaker, what do you think?
Dodger Dynamo.
Okay. Definitely in a class with Willie and Ricky Henderson for being able to pick a game up and put it in his back pocket and just beat you on the bases, beat you with the bat, beat you in the field, and absolutely good description. Mm-hmm. Now, Robert, you're younger than all of us here. What comes to mind when I say the word Jackie Robinson?
Well, everyone knows he was the first African-American ball player, but he was also the first black television analyst for Major League Baseball. I mean, after his career was over, he did a lot. I think he worked for Chockfull Nuts. I think he was like the vice president of the corporation. He opened and owned a bank. I mean, he did so much after his career, you know, including civil rights movement. I think there's a lot that people don't know about him after his playing days.
You know, Martin Luther King, when someone called him the father of the civil rights movement, corrected them and said that it was in fact Jackie Robinson who was the father of the civil rights movement. It would have come, but it would have come much later without Jackie. Thank you, Robert. Marty Rose.
Yeah, well, I think that one anecdote a little bit. He debuted the day before I did, as a matter of fact.
Really?
The world, that is.
That is true. Yes, you're a 1947 guy. You're the young.
Yeah, he debuted April 15th, and I debuted April 16th. But you know,
I must say you both made big splashes. more so with me than Jackie, I got to tell you.
But he was an officer in World War II. He was a multi-sports star at UCLA, and wasn't just baseball. He was quite the athlete all around. And
played basketball, ran track.
Yeah, track. Yeah, everything. So a wonderful.
And
wonderful
suffered more than from all of it. I think what he did was internalize it all, and it caused his early death. He took another 2 years before Branch Rickey let him. For 2 years, Branch Rickey told him, just turn your other cheek. That's all I want you to promise. Give me 2 years. After that, he was ferocious after that. But he held that in, and he took so much. So, here's to you, Ronnie. Get better. And we're helping you. We're pinch hitting, filling in the legacy of Jackie Robinson. Appreciate it. All three of you guys were terrific with that. And this is Hot Stove. Well, what can I say? Next week, what is it, the owners' meeting or the general managers' meeting next week?
Winter meetings.
Winter meetings themselves. Okay.
Yeah.
And
GM's met last month, I think.
And will that be in Orlando?
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
Good. We'll have more to talk about then, but for the meantime, I appreciate your company, guys, and it's the Comfortably Zoned Radio Network. I'm Ralph Tyko, the weak link of it all. We'll be back next week, guys. Have a great one.
Okay.
Good night.
Bye.